Hello class, we're about to start section 10.4, area and circumference. Our objectives: use area formulas to compute the areas of plane regions and solve applied problems. Use formulas for a circle circumference and area. Formulas for area: the area of a figure is usually measured in square units. The area of a two-dimensional figure is the number of square units within the interior of the figure. This is easy if the figure is rectangular or made of rectangles. Other shapes are not so easy. The area of a square is A equals S squared. Now the S does not stand for square, it stands for the side. The area A of a square with one side measuring S linear units is given by the formula A equals S to the second power. The formula for the perimeter of a square is P is equal to 4 times S. Because remember, with a square, all sides are the same. The area of a rectangle. Now, the area A of a rectangle with length L and width W is given by the formula A equals LW, or L times W. The formula for the perimeter of a rectangle is P is equal to 2 times W plus 2 times L. Now, solving the area problem. You decide to cover the path shown in bricks. Find the area of the path. Now, what we have here is this here. You notice that this is in an L shape. But if we did this here, of course, I'm not drawing this with a straight edge. This would look more like a rectangle. So what we could do is this here. We could take the large rectangle minus the small rectangle. Okay, so we take the large rectangle. We know this side 13 feet and this side 3 feet will be this complete side, which is 16 feet. So it'll be, and of course we know this is the area of the large rectangle minus the area of the small rectangle. So we will have A is equal to L times W, and this is also A equals L times W. So now, our length here is 16 feet, and our width, which is from here to here, you notice this is 3 feet, and this is 6 feet, and together this forms this whole side, which is 9 feet. So it'll be 16 times 9, and then minus, that's the area of the large rectangle, minus the area of the small rectangle. Now if we look here with the small rectangle, we have 13 feet, and we have 6 feet here. Now, this is the area of the small rectangle. So 16 times 9 is 144, minus 13 times 6 is 78. Now when we subtract these, this gives us 66, and then it's square feet. And that is our final answer. Now we go here, it says find the area of the given figure. Now, it says here, okay, we have actually two figures here. Now this is what we would need to do like we did in the last problem. We will make this one big figure here. Okay, so now if we had this whole rectangle, we will have the area of the large rectangle. Let me erase this off here. All right. It'll be minus the second rectangle and minus the third rectangle. Okay, now remember all of these are area. I should put area and also area. Okay, so now this is what we would do. We know that all of these are length times width. So let's look at the larger rectangle. We know this side and this side will be this whole side here, which is 16. So we know that the width is 16. Now we will go for the length. Now the length, we have 14 here, and we have 20 here. But here's the problem. Okay, now, to get these values here, we know from here to here is 16. But from here to here is 20. So there is a difference of 4 here. So we know this space here is actually 4. So if this space is 4, we know this would cut off 4 from up here. So then from here to here would be another 10. Okay, so now if we look here, this would be 20 and 10, which will give us 30. So our length will be 30. So the area of the large rectangle is 30 times 16. Now we'll go to the second rectangle. I'm going to choose this rectangle here as the second rectangle. Now we know we have a length of 16. Maybe I ought to classify this. This is the first. This is the second. We have a length of 16. Now we want our width. Now we know our width goes here up and down. But if you notice here, from here to here is 16. That's the whole side. Now we have 6 here, so that means that this side here must be 10. So the width is 10. So our second rectangle is 16 times 10. Now our third rectangle, which is here, we know this is 8. So we know that our width is 8. Let me put third. Our width is 8. Now we need to find the length. Now the length goes across here. Now we know from here all the way to the end is 30. So we know this has to be 10. So we will add 10 times 8. So now 30 times 16 is 480. Minus 16 times 10 is 160. And 10 times 8 is 80. So 480 minus 160, we know would give us 320 minus 80. 320 minus 80 is 240. And that is our final answer. Now we don't know what the units of measure is, but we will put the units in square to give it square units. But it's 240 is the area of this figure. Now, these next two figures is basically the same. We really don't have to go through all of that. We could just basically use the same process we used for the previous example, and it will give us the same answer. Now we come here to the area of a parallelogram. It says, find a formula for the area of the parallelogram. It says, draw the height perpendicular to the base as shown in the left drawing. Move the triangle created to the other side of the parallelogram as shown in the right drawing, well, it should be the bottom drawing. Notice that you created a rectangle with length equal to b and width equal to h. Now, the area A of a parallelogram with height h and base b is given by the formula A is equal to b times h, or base times height. The height of a parallelogram is the perpendicular distance between two of the parallel sides. It is not the length of a side. So basically what they're saying here is this right here will be considered the height of the parallelogram. Okay, now using the formula for a parallelogram area, find the area of the parallelogram. So the area is equal to the base times the height. The base here is 8. And the height is 4. So 8 times 4 is 32. And it's centimeters squared. Or square centimeters. And that is your final answer. Now the area of a triangle. It says find a formula for the area of a triangle. Notice in the drawing below that if you draw the diagonals of a parallelogram, you create two triangles. Therefore, a triangle is half of a parallelogram. The area A of a triangle with height h and base b is given by the formula A equals b times h over 2, or as we commonly see it, A equals 1/2 times the base times the height. Now the height of a parallelogram is the perpendicular distance from the vertex of the triangle to the base of the triangle. It is not the length of a side. So, it says using the formula for the triangle's area, find the area of the triangle. So we have the area is equal to half of base times height. The area is equal to 1/2. The base here is 16. And the height we know is 10. So now, when we multiply all this together, this will give us 80 square meters. And that is our final answer. Now, we come down here. We have a few other triangles here we need to solve. And we use the same formula. Area is equal to 1/2. The base here is 5. And the height is 6. So area is equal to, this will give us 15. Now we come here, the same thing. Same formula. Area is equal to 1/2. The base here is 4. And the height is 7. So when we multiply all this together, this will give us 14. Now we come here. The area is equal to 1/2. The base here would be 8. And the height will be 7. So this will give us 28. Now it says here, a triangular children's playground is to be surfaced with a protective rubber coating. The coating costs $9.50 per square foot. The base of the triangle measures 48 feet and the height of the triangle is 18 feet. What is the cost to install the surface? So it would be area is equal to 1/2 of base times height. So 1/2, it says the base is 48 and the height is 18. Now when we multiply this, let me see, we get 432. Now, so we get 432, and so the next thing we would need to do is to take this value and multiply by $9.50. So we would take our calculator, and we would take 432 times 9.5 or 9.50, and that would give us 4,104. So our answer is 4,104. That would be our final answer. Now, we scroll down here to the area of a trapezoid. It says find a formula for the area of a triangle. And it's basically the same thing that we've done before. You can read these two at your leisure. But when we come down here, this is where we get the formula for a trapezoid. It's basically area is equal to 1/2 a height times the base plus the base. Now this big base is actually this longer side of the trapezoid. And the parallel side is the small base, and the H we know is the height. So now we scroll down. Now it says here, we have the area of trapezoid using different notation. Find a formula for the area of a trapezoid. It says the area A of a trapezoid with parallel bases A and B and with height H is given by the formula. Now basically this is just the same exact formula that we had before. It's the same exact formula as we had before. The only difference is we're not using big B and small b. So now it says find the area of the trapezoid. I would say area is equal to 1/2 times the height times big B plus small b. Now we substitute. We have 1/2. The height is 13. Capital B is 46. And the small b is 32. So we have 1/2 times 13. 46 and 32 is 78. and then we multiply.